I was enjoying my time line dancing and them kind of just like minding their business, looking at the dance floor as the tailgaters were just minding their business. But it was the genuine smiles that we had that we get at Buckles, but with people that we don't get to see very often. And just the joy of like, they weren't opposed to me being around them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I could have been more conversational, but for someone that's used to sitting with that, for someone that's used to being behind a curtain or behind a booth or something like that, it's not always easy for me to talk to people, even though I fake it really well. Or like if I see that you're off, I'll open a conversation like, how are you doing? Like, how are you actually doing? So for people to just like be in the room and just like kind of put me in a protective way, it was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just used to taking care of myself. All that to say, tailgaters are very polite and they protect people that they care about very well.
You know, Patrice's playlist, well, it's good listening.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Patrice's Playlist. I'm your host, Patrice, and I am so glad that you are here with me to experience this conversation. I pray that it sprinkles some hope in the midst of your day and that you learn something new. Many folks have been asking me on social media and in person how my experience was on the Bananaland at Sea Cruise and what it's been like to meet and to become friends with some of these incredible Banana Ball players, Banana Ball cast members, entertainers, broadcasters, to meet some of those folks. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not besties or BFFs with everybody, but to really connect, I should say genuinely connect with many folks within the Banana Ball organization, which is under the umbrella of Fans First Entertainment, owned by Jesse and Emily Cole. Shout out all of the hip hip hoorays and hurrahs for them and what they've been building and the culture of kindness and honor and joy and play that exists in that organization. It is the real deal. I spent many, many months researching, doing deep dives, reading books, articles, listening to podcasts, as I'm still in the midst of possibly working for the organization in the future. And it's been a journey and a long process, but even if I didn't get a chance to connect or even apply for a job or internship, I was really drawn to the joy and the play. And there's something that's really healing that's happening. It's kind of like how I feel about comedy and how we need like levity. As one of my good friends says, like she needs levity when it comes to like a dating relationship. Everything is not just deep talks all the time. We need to have some play and fun, and can we enjoy each other? And I also find like that is really healing. Just on the day-to-day, we are all in a battle of some sort. I know you are listening right now, and how good does it feel to just laugh or play, to take a deep breath? Then you can kind of go back to whatever it is that you are fighting, but you'll have more strength, more stamina, more endurance, more resilience, all the things. And so there's something like secret in the best way that's happening sort of under the surface in Banana Ball that I really want to give attention to in this conversation with one of my besties. She is a fellow country line dancer and line dancer period, because we do all kinds of line dancing. We've traveled throughout Texas doing a line dancing trip, and she has an interesting perspective, her own perspective. She went with me on the Bananaland at Sea Cruise, and she has her own experience. Her personality is different than mine, and I love hearing her take on the experience of Banana Ball, because she kind of got thrown in. I was just like, hey, do you want to go on this trip? And she's like, sure, why not? There's gonna be line dancing? Great. And she's a coach. She does sound, but she's a sports gal. And so I knew that like, she would just enjoy like talking to coaches and meeting players. Little did we know what God had set up for us. And so let me tell you, like, shout out to all the humans in Banana Ball. This particular podcast is going to really highlight the kindness of the men that we encountered, the players, staff, a broadcaster or two, the depth of the kindness that I saw lived out. I mean, it felt like this is what the church should be feeling like most of the time, if I'm honest. So, without further ado, I will meet you on the other side of this conversation. I'd love to know your takeaways. And shout out to anyone from Banana Nation, from Bananaland, listening to this podcast episode. It means so much to me. I know it means so much to Morgan because we do share our hearts. We are vulnerable in this conversation. And yeah, thank y'all for listening. And I pray again that the Lord meets you in a unique way and brings some hope, some healing, some peace, some joy to your day today. So without further ado, here's my conversation, spilling the tea about some Banana Ball with Morgan. Enjoy. We went to Sandlot Revival last night. We got back at midnight. Sandlot Revival is this, how would you best describe it, Morgan?
It's a place where believers or non-believers come meet and kind of interact with people that have faith and kind of just get a taste of what it's like to have a Christian community.
Yeah. And so it was worship, and Coach Rack from Savannah Bananas shared a bit of his story, his testimony, how he got to Savannah Bananas, and then ultimately just put the spotlight right back on Jesus and
Hmm.
relationship with God, and how that is the most meaningful thing in our lives. And so we did that I did that impromptu. We had a full day. You had a full day of church work. I had a full day of church, and we've been running this entire month. And I'm going to take my little cowboy hat off. Get up here. The people know we just keeps it real in this podcast episode. But I usually ask this question at the very end of a podcast, but I felt like it was really important to start with this just because this was really close to my heart. So this podcast is called Patrice's Playlist because I love music. God meets me so powerfully in music, in worship, music, but music in general. That doesn't even necessarily have to just be Christian music. If the lyrics are powerful and they're hitting me and helping me process some things, that is a gift. And so the album that I just listened to from front to back, what I told you last night, was Raye's, Raye. Her new album just dropped, and this music may contain hope. I hope I'm saying the album title correctly, but there's a song on the album that's called I Know You're Hurting. If I think about it too, oh gosh, we can't cry already in like the
We're already there, like it's fine.
first. It's called I Know You're Hurting. I'm going to tag it in the show notes of this. But I actually felt like that was a perfect springboard, oddly enough, for Banana Ball and the Banana Ball
Hmm.
journey that you and I have had, the experience that we've had. I'll share everyone in my Patreon, and there's already archival video of my journey into Banana Ball. So for those that don't know, last year had the audacity to apply for an internship and then was offered to apply for an actual position and job. And that has been an ongoing process. And it's looking real promising, but I'm not officially yet in the organization. But I had already, before even really applying, I was already mesmerized by the culture and just the clips. I know a lot of people have seen a lot of Savannah Banana clips, and not necessarily even realizing Banana Ball is now like a full league. There's actually more teams than just the Savannah Bananas. But this past year has been really hard for me personally, and had just some and having some family things go on and some health things going on. And I felt like I was going into this our Banana Ball cruise, and I think
Mm.
that's what we're going to really kind of focus in on and kind of go wherever Holy Spirit leads us in this conversation. but just feeling like I was in the bowels of grief and not fully feeling held or seen in that. So I'm going to pause my sort of my entryway into the cruise, the Bananaland at Sea cruise that I invited you on. You're a sports lover. You had no, like, you knew a little bit about it, but you and I have traveled together. And I was like, I presented it to you last year and I was like, hey, would you want to go on this? I gave you like literally less than 24 hours to respond. Like, I was like, I need to know. No, I said, like, you can
Pray about it.
pray about it, but like, I need to know right away, like,
Yeah.
pretty quickly. And you let me know really quickly. But I'd love to know, like, what made you say yes, number one, to the trip, and then we can start to fast forward to your experience being on the cruise ship and in Banana Land, as many call it.
Yeah. So we had lunch at a local spot because we hadn't seen each other in so long. And it was in the summer of last year. She's like, hey, like, I was gonna go into this thing and I was wondering if you want to go because my other friend couldn't go. And I was like, all right, down. I literally, my time off request was done there because I'm like, my boss can't tell me no if I'm a year in advance. And she's like, but pray about it. And I said, all right, but like, I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna figure it out. Um, so part of it is because I never have been on a cruise ship before in my life. And I was like, why not? I think it could be fun. Um, I think the Savannah Banana part was kind of like on the back burner, to be honest with you, because it's just like, I mean, I like sports. I need a vacation because people keep telling me I need time not working. I said, well, people are going to be forced to do the job and I won't be there. I'm literally going to be in the middle of the ocean. Um, and I think that was a good time just to reset, even though we were exhausted. Like, it was such a good trip, but our bodies are just like, are we gonna ever process like all the things that happen? So there's probably gonna be tears processing because we even almost cried. I think we cried a little bit on the ship because we were just like, there's
Oh,
so
yeah.
much happening.
Yes.
But we made it. We're alive. We came
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt excited about the cruise because I knew there was going to be line dancing as well. And I had been in a deep dive of research of Banana Ball, the organization, reading about the founders, Jesse and Emily Cole, listening to podcasts, excuse me, listening to podcasts with the players, a lot of the players from different teams. And so, guys, that are everyone that's listening, there are 6 teams right now currently as we're recording this podcast episode. If you listen to this sometime in the future, there very
There
well
might
can
be
be
more.
there can be more. But everyone knows Savannah Bananas. Their sort of first rival was the Party Animals, and then the 2 teams that came after the Party Animals were the Firefighters and the Texas Tailgaters. Whoop whoop! Shout out to the Texas
Hmm.
Tailgaters. And then just this year, there is in play 2 new teams, which there's a revival of the Indianapolis Clowns, which is an incredible old school Negro League baseball team that did all these like trick plays and all this stuff like back in the day, way before Savannah Bananas. And what I love about Jesse Cole and Banana Ball, they are really about honoring like the heritage and legacy of baseball. Even though Banana Ball is not fully baseball, the rules are definitely different. And then also the last team is the Loco Beach Coconuts as well. And all these teams have themes and all the things. But I really was curious to see like line dancing, Texas Tailgaters. I was already veering towards them because one of their sort of themes was line dancing and the country stuff. And anyone that's been following me knows that I love to country line dance. You just saw my cowboy hat. I'm also wearing, you can't see, but my Texas Tailgater shirt that's signed by a lot of the players we met on the cruise ship. But what really I think took us back, and I want to get your sort of take on who comes to mind as being really influential and really blessed you and how they blessed you. But she's already, for anyone listening to the podcast, she's already shaking her head because she knows tears are probably coming from both of us. But so I didn't realize, and I had been reading about this, but the mission of Banana Ball is fans first. fans first. And maybe that just sounds like another like quick slogan, just real fancy, whatever, fans first. As I was reading and doing research, it was like, ooh, there's like this culture of kindness and culture of honor. And they really vet like a lot of their staff and the players. Like everyone like maybe is drawn to banana ball, but not everyone necessarily is up for the sacrifice of kindness and really putting people first. It really is people first in the most intentional way. And so when we first even before even boarding the cruise ship, like all the players are kind of coming off of that big like huge bus and everyone's intermingling with all of like the general public. And for me, someone who works in the entertainment industry, like the celebrities are over there, the crew and staff are backstage. We're behind here. Keep your head down. Sometimes don't look people in the eye. I'm always just like, I just want to love people and just bring hospitality. But it was so, you saw me, I was so nervous like when all the players were coming off of the bus because I was like, wait a minute. Like all these people that I just like studied and listened to for months and months, like 80% of them were coming um off that bus and just kind of, hey, looking you in your eye. Hey, how you doing? And Emily Cole was like one of the first people that I saw that I took a picture with. And I was already like geeking out. But what was already, I was like, I think this is going to be different. Like, and you and I had talked about like, we think the Lord's really going to surprise us on this trip. Fun fact for anyone that's ever going on a trip, invite the Lord into your trip and just ask and pray and just ask the Lord to like do what he wants to do. Fun fact, because he will. Um, but so for me, that was the beginning. So I guess we're kind of going in chronological order a little bit, but that was already impactful for me. Just seeing all the players. We line danced before we got on the ship in like that little, I don't even know what you call it, that lobby port thing. And I was just like, wait, number one, I'm in a tree of athletes. So it's like everyone is like so tall. And yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. In my mind, with actors and sometimes musicians, they feel bigger from the sound that they make. But when you see them like in person, a lot of times they're just a little bit, not like they're less of, but they're just shorter or they're just like not. And I had the opposite. I thought everyone was like smaller. And then when I see them, so there's already that's at play. And yes, ladies and gentlemen that have mentioned, all these guys are incredibly handsome. I think they pump them out at some sort of handsome factory. I don't know. I don't know. But they're beyond that because I'm around a lot of handsome people, beautiful people in Hollywood and in music. But what really struck me was the kindness. So now we're going to flip it to your experience. Like, what has made this so impactful? What made us so many times for you, like we would look at each other and just be like, wait, what is actually just happening? So kind of let us in on how your heart was being impacted.
Taking a minute. So when we first got on, like in the adventure, we were just met with a bunch of kindness just from people. Like no one was like snotty at us yet. No one was like had their I'm this. It was just like everyone's living in the world and we're just showing kindness. So when we got to port, I was line dancing outside because they had a DJ outside,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like,
right.
I'm just gonna enjoy my time, and everyone was just like happy, smiling. Everyone was looking at you. I remember that because everyone was trying to help you with your suitcase.
Yeah, that's funny.
Um, and so we get there, and I remember we both heard the first line dance, and we're like, yeah, we're going back down. So we
Yeah.
did that. And I think none of the guys like registered that there were other people dancing with them because they were just
Yeah.
like in their own little world. But they started registering a little bit like, oh, these people are like not like they're ready. Like they're ready to have fun.
Yeah.
And we got on a ship and I was taken aback by all the things that was on a cruise ship because it's like when you go to a new house and you don't know how it's laid out, you're just like
Yeah.
really trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
Um, and like our rooms were nice and clean and um just the joy that was on everyone's face that they were just so excited to be there was super nice. Um and I feel like I think it was Tuesday. I think it was our sea day. I was minding my business eating lunch because we didn't meet up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And one of the Savannah Banana players She's like, hey, can I sit here? And I said, why not? I'm just minding my business eating food. Um, and JT cannot pronounce his last name to save my life. Um, but he's a little nugget. And we just talked about life and like what he was gonna do and like what I did for my job and like then we talked about Jesus for a minute and then he wrote, I wish my glove is in my car. I did not bring it in this house. But he wrote a signature and then he wrote a Bible verse because his reasoning is like he didn't necessarily say his favorite Bible verse, but the one that will plant a seed in people. And like that's his biggest thing is um just planting seeds in people and just like taking the time to like look them dead in their eyes and like be compassionate. And I was like, oh, so like you're just being nice. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
But then he said it was like it was good for him too to like sit down and breathe. Which was kind of crazy. It's like you're in a boat full of people that like love you, but you just wanted a moment of like sit and just have a genuine conversation, not just about giving a piece of you, like piece of a signature. You wanted like a genuine connection, and I think they thrive on that. And I think it's a very
Yeah.
much a little bit of a growing pain when you don't know how to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and then I had another conversation with Webb from the firefighters. Literally can't see crab. That's okay. Um, for those that are listening, there are tears in my eyes. I'm like wiping them away. Which is fair because I'm just a crier and that's okay. Um, but Webb and I noticed that he had his Bible in his hand. They were still doing a Bible study on the cruise. I think they were in Ephesians 4 or
Yeah.
somewhere in Ephesians.
Summer. Yeah.
And like we just talked about it for a brief moment. It's like, yeah, like we're doing this and we do it across the country with like whoever shows up. We're all in the same book in the same chapter and we just all talk about it in our separate groups and like we're all learning about Jesus wherever we are with the people that we're with. And I was like, that's crazy. And as a coach of high school sports, that is a camaraderie that I would love to have with my players, or like my players to have that just with them if that's something that they pursue. So that was like when you started talking about that, Patrice was there, and I literally had to turn away from this human because
Yeah.
like they're all handsome too, but
Yeah.
like I don't need to be embarrassed. So I literally looked the opposite way and
Yeah.
like held my breath while tears are just like
I saw
flowing
that.
down my face, and I was like, I'm gonna calm down. And for those that aren't seeing this, it was like almost hyperventilating, but it was just trying to like suck it in. Like and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs like, suck that tear back in. Tear back in there, whatever that line is. That's what I was trying to do. Did
Yeah.
not succeed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that kindness, um, that's I think one of the things I want people to really take away from our conversation as we talk about Banana Ball and interacting with these guys. Um, all of a sudden, I'm being reminded of one of the fruit of the spirit that's talked about in Galatians, and gentleness is a fruit of the spirit, and gentleness is so powerful. And there was this gentleness and kindness that each player that we interacted with got to see that helped us. I was remembering, oh gosh, it's a homie from the Party Animals when we were in Cozumel and we were trying to get on the escalator and he was telling
Yes.
us which one, and we kept bumping into his parents, which is another
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Like a lot of these players also like had their family with them, girlfriends or wives. And yes, ladies, some of the players are still single, but like it was great to meet some of the wives and girlfriends, which I actually really adore. These women also are just super secure and super fun and love hyping up other women. And those are the kind of women I want to be around. And also, I'm just like, they're able to navigate other women, gushing over their guy or what, but they handle it with such grace. But back to the kindness piece, something that really impacted me, and you mentioned this already when JT like sat down, was the eye contact. I don't know, everyone in the chat, like, when is the last time you've had someone be super present. They're not on their phone. And most people couldn't really live on their phone because cell service was really limited, or you had to have some sort of special plan to like be. So people were really being present, a lot more present, which was really beautiful. But I think that was just their MO, like really like um there is a woman in ministry named Heidi Baker. And about, gosh, 15, 20 years ago, she would say this line like, for the one, or like love the one in front of you. And there's a theme in Banana Ball, the quote that's taken, at least in one of the books that Jesse's written. He takes a quote from a pastor, Andy Stanley, and it's like, do for one what you wish you could do for many. And that sentiment, do for one what you wish you could do for many, love the one that's in front of you. And I've always been impacted by that. That's flavored the way that I do my backstage work, the way that I do dressing rooms and hospitality. It's like each person, they get to be loved on in a specific way. Each person on my team, I want to see them in a very unique way and check in on them. To get that back, and you and I talked about this, and especially for women, like we're constantly giving out, nurturing others, pep talking our other girls, hyping our girls up, encouraging friends, having talks, being emotional support, whatever. It was so refreshing and so life-giving for not just people, but especially men to pour into us. And that wasn't like greasy or slimy, and everyone's not just trying to like holler at one another. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was probably happening on other parts of the ship, but it was just like, I want to see you and how can I support you? And I have to, in this part of the conversation, can we just talk about Kyle Martin?
That's
For I would
already.
also, before I start talking about Kyle and like fully lose it, um, the first day on the cruise, I went to like the little spa thing. I'd gotten
Yep.
like the little sauna spa package because the week before, you and I worked the Grammys. And so that was a show that I was leading, one of the biggest shows in the world, and one of the biggest shows that I supervise as a dressing room supervisor. And then like 6 days later, we go on this cruise. And so I knew I wanted to just kind of decompress and relax and breathe. I had one of the kindest interactions with a woman or with a girl in like a sauna where it was just like a really just kind interaction. I was just like, oh man, I like that girl. Little did I know that it would end up being Kyle's wife, which it was like the first person that I saw had this impression, left an impression on me. And I was like, man, I like this girl. Is connected now to one of our favorite people, Kyle Martin. And it's his first year in Banana Ball. We met a lot of first year folks. The team that you met some like firefighters and like JT Savannah Bananas. I was mostly meeting nothing but tailgaters and a lot of clowns, I should say too. Um, and so Kyle, it's his first year in Banana Ball. Um, I might link, I actually probably will link just like a clip or two of Kyle playing and just like a highlight of him. But he,
I was thinking about the clip from last night that we saw in the car.
okay, I think that one's hilarious actually. Um, and you guys won't know what clip it is until you go to the show notes, so you can just see what clip I put in there. But I mean, we kept bumping into him on the cruise ship, number one. He was there during the line dancing nights. We met him, I think, that first or second night or what have you. And I just remember being taken back at, again, his eye contact and kindness. And he loved that we line danced. He loved that I line danced. And I always think it's maybe kind of funny for people when they see sometimes like a black girl in cowboy boots that, is doing what country girl shake or whatever. I mean, it's not super rare, I think, in Southern California, but I think in other parts sometimes of the country. Um, but then also, yeah, we were just having a good time and we were just like doing what we normally do at our home spot at Buckles. And he was just so encouraging. I just remember him saying some of the kindest things to me, to us, and really seeing, like he would see not just us. Again, I want to let people know too, like, yes, we are special, and also we're not that special. Like everyone is getting these experiences with specific players, and it was just happening really organically. But I wanted to give Kyle Martin a shout out because he's been someone who's been consistently like checking in on us. We all kind of follow each other now on social media, and stay in contact. But it's because of him that like you and I got our first Banana Ball in person live experience. Um, and he was recording all of the footage, like us
I
dancing.
still can't.
He was like we call him Dad
Dad.
respectfully because I don't call him that because I think he's an older player, and I know some of the players like jab him because like he's all of 33 right now at the recording of this. But I actually call him that, and I call a lot of younger guys that have that ability to care for others and makes sure that everyone is okay. He is like the dad of the group in the best way. Like he's so kind and takes care of people. And so Kyle, if you get to listen to this, you have left such an impact of kindness, of Jesus type of kindness, on my heart. And I'll let Morgan sort of speak for her experience with you.
Um, it's fine until now. Um, Sorry, words are a thing.
I know,
Um,
I know.
Specifically Kyle, he just has this caring heart on his sleeve that I think people are like almost intimidated by, or like I think a lot of people are intimidated by people that wear their heart on their sleeve. It's like you're caring about me too much. It's like get over it. Like let people love you. Like it's fine.
Yeah,
And I think reverse, like people that wear their heart on their sleeve, it's really hard to receive care.
there it is. There it is.
And it was funny because well, it's not funny, it's cool. So we're just having like a ball of a time at the parks and or the field, and we're just minding our business. And when the game was finished on the Friday, we like tried to say hi to a bunch of players that we knew, and everyone, we need to like post more about it, but there were so many clips of them being so excited to see you. Um, and I'm just there. I'm honestly just along for her life story. It's really hilarious. I'm just her content producer or like just her videographer, not and she's like putting it together. But just the joy that they had on their face to see someone that just has the same joy was cool for me to see. But specifically Kyle, he's like, yeah, no, no, I'm not just gonna give her a hug. I'm gonna give both of you a hug. And it wasn't like a baby like side hug. It was like a true like, hey, like I haven't seen you in a while type of hug.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm crying so much. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's what we do.
And it was just cool to like be genuinely included, not kind of just like out of happenstance included.
Yeah.
And that comes in later because we were dancing. She didn't tell me till the next day, and that also wrecked me. But it's like, hey, I didn't want her to feel left out. It was all about Patrice and like this, that, and the other. It's like I didn't want her to feel left out. And like none of us said anything about it. Like I didn't say anything that I felt left out. I was enjoying my time line dancing and them kind of just like minding their business, looking at the dance floor as the tailgaters were just minding their business. But it was the genuine smiles that we had that we get at Buckles, but with people that we don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
And just the joy of like they weren't opposed to me being around them.
Hmm.
And like I could have been more conversational, but for someone that's used to sitting in the back, ooh, for someone that's used to being behind a curtain or behind a booth or something like that, it's not always easy for me to talk to people, even though I fake it really well. Or like if I see that you're off, I'll open a conversation like, "How are you doing? Like, how are you actually doing?" So for people to just like be in the room and just like kind of put me in a protective way, it was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just used to taking care of myself. Um, all that to say, tailgaters are very polite and they protect people that they care about very well.
Hmm. That makes me think of like the person listening that doesn't feel seen or feels like they're in the background. And it's so funny. You and I both have jobs where we work behind the scenes, and kind of prefer that. However, we long for connection with people, genuine connection all day, every day, just genuine life giving connection. And I think that's a majority of the people that are listening to this conversation now. And I think really what I'm wanting people to take away from this, our banana ball experience, and not just the cruise, not just, the games, but really the people. It's pivoting my heart to like you're saying, to receive, like a new way of being. And I feel like the Lord is really calling me out of sort of the shadows into like being seen and being known, even in this place of like deep grief and disappointment. And again, I started with that song, the song that's on my playlist right now, I Know You're Hurting. And I believe that a lot of the players are really cognizant, and so many of them are so young, but really mature and are really cognizant of people coming in. Like, you just don't know the battle that people are fighting. Everyone is fighting a battle of some sort. And these guys are like really, it's a job to them, but also I feel like it's like a mission. Like, I want to bring joy to someone in this moment, because this might be the only, like, whether it's a game, a live game, whether you watch a game on a broadcast, which I was doing for months, and I was getting joy, like listening to Brett Loftus, my favorite broadcast announcer, call a game, because he's so hilarious to me. I would have a day of just like weeping and crying over my family, and then everyone would be asleep, and then I would just watch like a banana ball game, a Texas tailgater especially, or whatever Brett was calling, and that would put my heart and my mind at ease. Like, for those 2.5 or 3 hours of that broadcast, a lot of times I would go to sleep to that broadcast or a particular player's vlog, because it was just so life-giving and peaceful. Little did I know that that was just a small piece of how they are actually, in person. And I mean, this conversation is not necessarily meant to be like, I mean, it's kind of like an ad for Banana Ball, like go and watch a Banana Ball game, go and get connected. But I think more than that, something we heard last night at Sandlot Revival, which has been a life theme for me, you and I kind of briefly talked about it, but community. And I think I want to kind of start to land the plane around community, and what I've learned, what I've learned from Banana Ball about community is often you have to go and find your people.
Mm,
Often you have to step outside of your comfort zone. For me, it started with clips of Savannah Bananas. I always call them my gateway, like, I don't want to say gateway drug necessarily, but my gateway team. Like, that they're the ones that got me into Banana Ball. But then it was like, oh, there's so much more, and even including like, I mean, there's so many media people and front office staff, people that we love seeing, I think that we just have so much respect for. We didn't get to interact with them as much, but this idea of seeing something that has the texture of like what you're wanting. And for some that are listening, it might not be Banana Ball, it might not be sports at all, but there is something that your heart is already drawn to. It's showing up most likely on your feed, like the things that are positive, that you're just like, oh, they look like they're living their best life. Don't maybe exclude yourself from being a part of that community. What has this sort of made you, how has this made you process community after experiencing Banana Ball? And then you also mentioned like you're a coach, so you help to facilitate community between your players. But for you personally, because again, we can't give away what we don't have. So how does that make you, or is making, forming the way that you are thinking about and pursuing community?
um, I think I have a lot of different thoughts about it right now. The community in the sports world is those are your rocks on the field. And those are your family on the field. And luckily, I was able to ask questions about coaching on the cruise because they had Q&As. And a lot of it is they do this thing called touch points. So like always like give a high five or like touch your body part respectfully.
Yeah.
But it's always just like letting someone know that you're there.
It's good.
And we cried in the car. I cried in the car about it a lot yesterday. But a lot of it is being consistent, but being real
Mm,
and like not being afraid of being who God made you to be. Because community isn't about being fake. Community is someone that you do life with, and life is life, and life can be joyous, but could also be depressing. You could be your healthiest, and you could be at your weakest, and letting people in to come and help you is really important. And
mm,
if you look at Jesus' life, like he could have done his ministry by himself, but he chose to bring in disciples. And so if you decide that you're going to be Jesus, which you can't, but for the sake of argument, if you decide to be a Jesus and do it on your own, that's a lonely life. Like it just is. Because that means you have to walk the straight and narrow and you have to walk kindly in this and that. But God's like, I didn't design you to be that way.
mm,
I didn't design my family that way. And
mm,
so if we decide to change what God designed, then we're in the wrong. And so community now is let's share one another's burdens
mm,
but also celebrate our victories and celebrate even the tiny wins of you put gas in your car or you washed your car. Like, not maybe not it's a whole birthday party celebration for washing your car, but it's like, hey, I'm proud of you. Or it
mm,
could just be a hug or like a long staring contest of, hey, I'm here anyway. Um,
mm-hmm.
and I think those are really important things in community.
Ooh, so good. You actually, I was thinking about this throughout this week that you are really good at holding space for pain and suffering in others, and not a lot of folks. And I mean, you're in your 20s and you've I feel like have been holding space. I mean, for as long I mean, we've known each other for what,
Something like that. That's crazy.
4, 5 years. And ever since I've met you though, you've had this capacity to hold grief with people and suffering with people. And I just came, from being with another friend who doesn't know how to sit with someone in their pain. They can only be around or really hold space and be in it with me if I'm on the high, if I'm, experiencing a victory or what have you, if I'm being silly. And you're able to do both. Like you're able to, we're line dancing, we're being silly, we're laughing at ourselves, like not taking ourselves too seriously. And we have some serious things going on in our lives as well that is heartbreaking and breaks our heart. And you've been able to be someone to sit with me, to listen without trying to fix anything and just being with me. And it was so cool to see some of the players just sit. Like I wasn't there when the JT experience. He literally was like, "Can I sit down?" To just sit to be with you. And you do that so much for so many people. And to see that happening, like for you on the cruise, blessed my soul so much. Like I love being partnered, and I've told you this before with introverts and like my friendships, my best friendships over the last, you know, 20, 30 years that have lasted, usually they're sometimes more in the background and I'm more and I kind of pull them out and they kind of ground me and there's like this beautiful, but also I think the flip side of the negative is like I can overshadow someone or I can and I don't that's not intentionally what I want to do. I don't want to sort of necessarily like I don't want anyone to dim their light, including me. However, I also want someone to feel preferred. And to see that happening in real time. And we just talked about, I know we talked about Kyle. I know podcast, we talked about Kyle, but like he is so good. He's got like a pastor's heart. Like he's just so a dad heart, a shepherd's heart, like so good at seeing and sitting and being. And again, for me to watch that happen for you was such a blessing to me on the like you had these like you were going to Q&As like for coaches that wasn't my jam, my calling. It was so pertinent to you and these coaches gave you like answers, like started to like kind of unpack a couple of things for you. And so like when we're talking again about this cruise and I know some people are just really like what's it like and what have you. I guess I will leave a link to the the cruise in the show notes so you guys can, if you're really curious, you can decide if you want to sign up for yourself. But again, it doesn't have to be a Banana Land at Sea Cruise. It can be whatever your thing is or where you're feeling drawn to. Pray about it and explore that with the Lord and step out. And again, start doing some of your hobbies. Like I started line dancing on my own. Like a lot of my friends at the time, because it wasn't cool at the time. It's cool now, but no one wanted to go with me. And I just started little baby steps, once a week. And then I got hooked and I loved it. And when I met you, I feel like you were there. Maybe you had one other friend, but I remember meeting you kind of solo dolo also. Like you kind of had stepped out. And I just want to encourage anyone that's on the fence that just feels like I'm feel stuck. I don't have community. I've not experienced anything that you and Morgan are talking about. I'm not giving the people this conversation to tease them like a carrot. You're hearing this conversation to know that it's actually possible for you. If you're hearing this conversation, I believe it's God's invitation to you personally to you step into greater community, people that will see you, love you, want to get to know you. One of my favorite lines that you would say in the beginning was, "We're just out here existing."
Yeah, I did say that a lot.
Like we were just like, how, like, why are they loving us so much? Why
We're
are they?
just existing.
We're just existing. And I think that's how it should feel in community with your people. Like you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to do a tap dance. You don't have to be happy all the time. You don't have to be sad all the time. You just get to exist. And in that, the beauty about community is that it forces you to grow up, to grow up and to mature in faith. And for those that are listening to this conversation, maybe you're just a beginner in sort of your faith journey. We love that. Community, get in community. Maybe you have been church hurt and the church has really like done a number on you. I understand that. Like, oh my goodness. And there's still community where you can exist, be loved on. There's a part of this conversation that we're gonna take over to Patreon because I want to just process some other things with you in terms of like, for me, the standard of the kind of man that I want to marry, it was, it's been a journey being single. And I think I was kind of on the like, and sometimes in this season too, I'm just like, it can happen or not. If I get married, if I have a partner, if I'm, and I just, you just kind of lose hope and just I always try to say like there are good guys, there are good guys. I don't want to subscribe to the narrative that there's no good guys. But you're just like, man, like I've been looking around and I'm just getting burned left and right and it's just not connecting. But being on the cruise, it ignited something in me from the Lord. I truly believe it was just like you had no idea what was actually possible for your love story. You had no idea what was possible for the type of integrity and kindness that men can actually exude and it not be weird
Mm,
and not be weird. We love the church. I love the church, but not weird church boys because sometimes, and
mm.
granted, weird church girls exist as well too. So we'll put it out there. But I was just like, where are the normal guys that like just love God and are fun? Like, like and have a job and have passion. I don't know. Like, and healthy habits. And I'm here to tell you that they do exist. And while you're seeking community, also for me, it's been important in these years that I've been single to also do the work for myself. People know I'm a fan of therapy, coaching, inner healing, prayer, all of that, and also physical health, making sure that I stay physically healthy. That's all intentional. All of this is not by mistake. Like this is very intentional and it's like I want somebody who's active and loves God, all the things. Am I also that person? Am I also that person that's passionate and active? Like, I'm not trying to use somebody up and vampire them, as I like to say, for their powers and their beauty. No, like I want us to be it to be a partnership and we get to move and keep running with God, doing what God's called us to do. If you could, and again, we'll talk about the the standard stuff on the Patreon and the bonus talk. But in this main conversation, as we like fully land, we've talked about how we got introduced to the live in-person banana ball sort of experience, how it's impacted you and I personally. We've talked about community for people. I want to give you some space and time if there's anything on your heart that you want people or to shout out any players or anything that might be on your heart as we get ready to close this big conversation.
Um, I think a lot of it is just stepping out anyways. Um,
So good.
'Cause I talked about it a lot last night on the car ride. Many tears were had. Um, but about just being authentically who God made you to be, not who you want to be, if that makes sense.
Oof.
Because I think we all want to be a specific person, and sometimes that goes against what God has for you.
Mm,
And so maybe taking away distractions, um, and we talked about my distractions, but also just saying, I need to not be afraid of being a caring. I need to not be afraid about being the caring person that God made me to be.
hmm
And that can be difficult because it's like, it seems like every time I am too kind, it gets like, you're too much, or like, I don't understand why you care about this so much. And like, it can be discouraging, but why doesn't it need to be discouraging if that's how God made me to be? Um, so my encouragement is whatever you do, give it to the Lord, and just be patient to hear him and look for the little things that he's done.
hmm
Like, um, I remember we had this conversation on the cruise of it kind of put my pride in check a little bit. Um, man, it sounds like I'm like breaking, and I'm really not, I promise. But we talked about it put my pride in check because everyone was there for you and
mm
everyone was encouraging you. And it's like
mm
it's okay not to be the center. It's
mm
okay not to be seen too.
mm
Um,
mm.
and some of it was this is a week for you to just kind of sit back and just get your moments, but be the encourager that that person needs right now.
mm.
You don't have to be the one that everyone's going up to.
Mm.
Practice having joy by yourself.
Oof.
Um, and that was like a lot of things that I learned that week. And like I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't matter if they see me or not. If they want to see me, great. If they don't, God sees me and I'll get over it. Like,
hmm
and to just taking time to have peace with the Lord first before you step out
It's good.
and do stuff.
It's good. That's good. I would also add that your caring heart is a strength and not a liability, and you get to be cared for as well. And I think in our culture today, like being seen, because everyone's like seen on social media, everyone's got a brand, everyone this, that and the other. And I love how, and I feel like all of us in different seasons of our lives too, where the Lord's just like checking us of like, no, this is not about you, or this is not your moment. And any lady that's been a bridesmaid for more than like in more than three weddings, hello, hi somebody. We know like, oh, that's not our day. It's not about us. It's it's her moment. It's the bride's moment. It's and and I think I put myself in that position, especially as being called the hype mom, at our bar. I intentionally start to move to the back. And because I was like, well, I mean, the Lord has humbled me. So I thought I was meant to be, in the front, and the Lord's like, let me give you 10 years of being hidden. Let's do some hiddenness work. Not because I wasn't loved, not because I wasn't significant, but because I was going to become a person that God was like, that's not the real you. Like, let's get down to the authentic you. And you don't need to perform to be loved. You don't need to be a performer to be loved. You get to just exist. And let's get back to that. And so then now flipping that, where I'm so used to being behind the scenes, what the Lord did, and you saw that, was then put me to the forefront where people were seeing me line dance, and I was very uncomfortable with it in the very beginning, because I've made a comfy home actually being hidden. I was like, okay, I'm just going to live a life of sort of hiddenness and obscurity, and I want a life of significance that never changed. I wanted to make an impact, but I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to be in the forefront. You know, 10 years, 10 years of discipline and the Lord's kindness to hide me. Now there's kind of this shift that's begun to happen. And he allowed a gracious friend like you, because I think others, and this is why I think women kind of struggle sometimes in friendships, because there's jealousy, because there's legitimate hurt. Like that is legitimately kind of pain, that's painful. And we acknowledge that. And do you hear what I'm like, chat? Do you hear what he's saying? Like with the maturity of Morgan, to even like she and the Lord processed that before she kind of talked to me about it. She wasn't harboring any resentment. She didn't just like, and
And for a split second, it did happen.
but
It did.
like nothing that I felt, nothing that you like stabbed me with, like
Hmm.
you just kind of encourage people to go talk to the Lord first, before entering community, before stepping out, doing it anyway. And I can say that you genuinely do that in real life and in real time. And we're, bunking in the same room. Like those cruise rooms are tiny. If you don't like that friend, like don't go on a cruise. Just saying. Close quarters, but also we're very independent too. So we would do different things throughout the day and then come back just for dinner. So she's living her life, I'm living mine. I'm in the sauna, she's going to Q&As, I'm reading or whatever. And then we would come back and we have that beautiful balance. But I love you saying what you said, like you you realized in that moment for you what the Lord was telling you, not what I'm saying, like, hey, it's okay not to be the center in this moment. However, you are still very significant and the Lord's speaking to you directly, and you are worthy always of care. And so for the person in the friend group that feels like they're the more behind the scenes or the quiet one or the one that's maybe overlooked, I just want to encourage their heart and just saying, but you are worthy to be cared for, to be seen, and to be loved. And maybe it's not seen by the crowds. We don't really need crowds. It's just really the one who's in front of you, who's present with you. Yeah. And so I feel like that is like what Banana Ball has taught me about community and love and friendship, existing and being seen. These are all, gosh, I think too a part of my spiritual formation, like learning to love and to be loved by Christ, learning to love like Christ and
We also
be,
talked about that.
we did. And we can't, again, I said this earlier in the podcast, you can't give away what you don't have. And so it's
Mm.
really important to be in spaces and community where you can actually receive love. And I purposely put myself on a cruise that I thought would be fun. I invited a friend who was game, who trusted me, and we got our love tank full. And again, it wasn't just the banana ball players, which a majority of that love came from them, but it was even the fans, the banana ball community. Can we also, as we close this, just shout out the banana ball community? I mean, can you tell them a little bit about like these people that are really into banana ball, that love banana ball?
So these people are just genuinely kind human beings. They were hyping her up. There are plenty of photos of everyone coming up to Patrice, and just like saying, "Girl, like, can you teach me? Like, that was incredible," and this, that, and the other. And we got keychains, we got stickers, but I think that was from Banana Ball. We got, we ended up making like an impromptu sign because we got a magnet, and I think someone took our magnet.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But that's okay
Yeah,
because we got memories. Um, and but like they brought because they had like a swag swap, but we didn't
there
even
we
bring
go.
anything.
We didn't
But like
know.
just the genuine kindness of like you get a keychain and you and like they're hand carved or like laser or
Yeah,
whatever it was. It
yeah,
was we got some at the game that we went to on Friday.
yeah.
We got a keychain and I think we got a sticker.
Yeah.
We had an itty bitty tailgater sticker. Um, but just the love that they have for people, like when you went to go buy something and they were doing one of their like group dance things in the stands where like everyone just arm around each other and we're just like excited and like singing. I don't remember what song we were singing, but I remember like it was this random guy that's married next to his wife, and then I was just the lonesome person. But like it was just the love that Banana Ball tries to invite. Um, I don't want to say try it, that they genuinely give the option of sharing love instead of everyone having an individual love.
Mm,
Um, it's very, they try their best to not have individuals out there. They try to
mm.
make it a family
Yeah.
off the field.
Yeah. That's beautiful. You just reminded me also talking about the field in that game, seeing a majority of the players like do prayer on the
Oh,
field.
my
So,
favorite.
so I'm gonna leave it with that. Like, ladies and gentlemen, there are folks out there that are still praying. Those that, have followed me or listened to me know that prayer is a high value. For me, Jesus said, when you pray, not if you pray. And that's one of our lifelines of connection and relationship, in our faith to Christ and to see, an atmosphere where you can play. There is, like you were saying, this togetherness. Like, so even if you go like a solo dolo, like you have to really resist, I think, being included. Like, you would have to kind of forcefully resist being a part of this idea of community because they're really intentional about seeing the one, do for one what you wish you could do for many, but also seeing these guys pray, on the field, like a whole clump of them, like just all gather before the game. And a lot of these teams, they, in opposing teams, they share the same locker room. Excuse me, they share the same locker room. A lot of them live together, like they're doing life together, and it shows. It really shows. And everyone is really grateful to be there. And
Mhm.
so I think one of the other takeaways I would drop is gratitude in the midst of your community building and community searching or community existing. Don't forget to thank the Lord. Like, gratitude is a big deal. And most of those guys and gals, shout out also to Wiggs, Megan Wiggs, who is one of the best hype women of all
For sure.
time. It's
Always
just
hyping you up.
always hyping you up and just so incredible. Shout out also to, I think I shouted out Megan Martin, Kyle's
Hmm.
wife already, Hannah Banana, John's wife. John, we also appreciate you and love you. Again, there were so many players that showed us love.
Say Nick.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Nick,
Australia. I couldn't remember his name.
Australia, Brett, um, Mr. Leisure,
Garrett,
Garrett, um, Anna from the Two Steppers, all the
Anna,
Two Steppers.
Nugget. I can't remember her name to save my life. Merchandise or she.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Peanut,
Peanut.
Peanut. Yes, Peanut. We call her Peanut. Kaylin. I mean, y'all, we're just listing like the names that are coming to the top of our dome. And those are people that that have made a like connection. We've made a connection to, feel a connection with, a lot of these.
Seth. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. Seth. Seth, who's the umpire ninja or ninja umpire. I don't know how to say, which way I'm supposed to say it, but umpire ninja. He's the umpire usually at first base, either at a Texas Tailgater game or a Savannah Banana game, doing backflips when he calls it like an out. It's so fun. He's incredible. Shout out to your mom too, Seth. We love her. Um, yeah, I mean these we're remembering names and peoples. And I feel like that doesn't always happen unless there's impact.
Hmm.
And just for the Bananaland family, like y'all are leaving impact. We don't know how long we get to, be on this earth, and many of the players don't know how long they'll get to play in Banana Ball. They want to keep it going. For those that feel called to it and feel like that's their home and are just grateful to be there, they want to keep it going as long as they can. But we don't know, like, and so I just want to say though to every single person that connected with us, whether we mentioned you by name or not, you are leaving a an impact.
Hmm.
For you that are believers, you know that you're leaving an eternal impact, a legacy of love that doesn't end with you. And just grateful. that's a sneak peek, everyone, into the Bananaland at Sea Cruise, a little bit of Banana Ball. I hope that kind of whet y'all's appetite to look into either Banana Ball or community, something fun, something life-giving. Because guess what? God is the creator of joy, and He can actually lead you to something fun and flip the script and make it so deep and meaningful that you just didn't even know. Like, oh wait, God, you can use something as playful and silly as Banana Ball to teach me and grow me in faith
Mhm.
and in love. Yes, he can. Yes, God can. Okay, so everyone knows my song that I'm listening to, and that album is freaking fire. And I'm gonna put two songs on my thing. I'm gonna say Joy, also on that album by Raye, is a perfect to me. It's like I'm in the tension of I know you're hurting and joy. That's what kind of where I'm living right now. What's on your playlist?
Okay, I had two. The first one that kept popping in my head was "Happened to Me" by Russell
Yeah. Dickerson?
Dickerson, because we jammed out to Russell on that cruise trip.
Yeah.
The other one is "Honeycomb" by, I want to say Hillsong. Um,
You can send me the link.
hmm, Legacy Worship. I lied.
Legacy Worship. Shout out to Lyle. Hello.
Because it's just I don't know. There's something about the vibe because I'm a sound person, and so I just really like the vibe, and it's just really cool to remind to like taste and see what the Lord like taste and
Oof.
see.
Oof.
Like if you just like if you're willing to taste what the Lord has for you, like imagine how much more He could do. There's a lot of Christian songs that I have on my brain, but that's the two that I'm gonna stick with.
I like it. I like it. Everyone, thanks so much for listening to this big conversation. I hope it was a blessing. I hope you're encouraged to find community. I hope you're encouraged to know that there are good guys and good gals out there. I love that quote. You haven't met all the people that are going to love you yet. You haven't yet
Mm,
met all the people that are going to love you. And I truly believe that, not just for you and I, but for every single person that's listening to this conversation. You have not met all the people in your life yet that are going to love you. So I love you, everyone. Bye for now. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, so what do you think? Should I interview a handful or a couple of these banana ball players? Should I have a couple of these guys on the podcast? If so, let me know. And if you have someone in mind, let me know who. But shout out to like my brother already, Kyle Martin. We've talked about him so much in this conversation. He is the real deal. Shout out to his wife, Megan, who you heard in the podcast. It was just some like sort of beautiful, weird, divine timing that neither of us planned. And then it just worked out like, wow, of course, she's the wife of one of the kindest guys here, too. And not to say that any of the other guys there are not kind, but it was just, wow. So shout out to you, Megan. Wiggs as well, one of the most incredible encouragers you'll find on planet Earth, Megan Wiggs. Bradford Webb, we talked about him as well. But if there's a player that you think, I'm curious about their faith, I'm curious about how they're walking out the banana ball experience, let me know. Because I'd love to get a couple, not just one, but a couple of those guys and gals, whoever's interested. And even front office staff, media, what have you. Yeah, so let me know who you're curious about. This season, we're going to keep it going. We are discovering and exploring being content in all seasons of life. And, as I mentioned, like going on this cruise, I'm really holding the tension of a lot of deep grief and anger and frustration of just things not feeling fair in my own family. And I want my heart soft towards the Lord. I want my heart still open to say this Jesus is still here. He's in the room. And wherever he's at, it's always miracle season. And so God, help me to believe, help me to lean, help me to trust, help me to see. So that's my prayer for us going into the rest of this day. Help us to know, help us to trust, help us to see, help us to believe, help us to love. God, more like you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Again, I believe that we're better together, and I know that you have some good that you're spreading out in the world. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram, on social media at Together Good Co, because we are better together. You can also find me in Patreon for the ladies that just want a space to get prayed for, loved on, and we do some deep dives, and there is the bonus conversation. Bonus conversations exist in my Patreon. It's a safe space. There's really just a paywall just to really vet who is invested in their own heart and really intentional about keeping it a safe space. It's a judgment-free zone, and it's where my wild babes are that love wild prayer, and we talk about real stuff. And so if you're interested in that, there is a link to my Patreon space in the show notes. And yeah, we did it. I'll see you on the next conversation here on Patrice's playlist. Until then, bye.